the Sooners? It is. Here we are. Bridgestone Arena, Cats set to take on the Oklahoma Sooners in a rematch battle in the second round of the SEC tournament. We just got done watching Georgia, who led and controlled the game
away. Yes.
For quite some time, and then it was just all Oklahoma there down to the stretch. Jeremiah Fears, once again, one of the candidates for SEC Freshman of the Year, didn't get it, but looked the part of the lottery pick that everybody's kind of hyping him up to be. Awesome performance for him. But here we are, round 2 of the Sooners and the Cats. How are you feeling ahead of that matchup, Zach?
I feel great because we're matching.
Always feel good.
On 3 boys over here. Feeling good. This is the matchup I wanted. No. I'm sorry. I actually wanted Kentucky to play Georgia, but Oklahoma, we'll take it. The spread came out already. Any guesses on the spread?
I didn't see that.
Any guesses?
Kentucky minus 4.5.
Close. Minus 6.5 for Kentucky. So spotting a decent amount of points there. So I'm very excited for this matchup. I think it's good. Just kind of talking to Jeremiah Fears and Jalen Moore in the post-game locker room back there, you get the sense that, yes, they're... Anywho, you get the sense that they are very much looking forward to this game. It was, they wanted to take care of Georgia, but they were definitely looking ahead a little bit to this game. Obviously, you've got so many storylines with this one. The main one is Otega Oweh scored 18 points to close the game against Oklahoma on the road exactly 2 weeks ago today, where Kentucky ended up pulling out that very clutch road win that they needed. That was a huge win at the time for Kentucky. And former team with Otega as well, so there's going to be a lot of energy and built-up emotions, and you obviously had the chippiness with Brandon Garrison at the end of the last game as well. So this is going to be a very high-energy matchup. I'm definitely looking forward to it. I think we're going to get a high-scoring game as well. It should be actually a very entertaining matchup. Would have rather played Georgia because I think they're the least talented team, even if they're maybe more physical, and you can kind of weigh, would you rather play the more talented team that's not going to beat you up or the less talented team that's going to probably beat you up? In the postseason, you can kind of probably go either way. So it should be fun regardless. It's kind of shocking that Oklahoma fell down to a 14 seed, honestly. I think that was a little bit interesting how those standings laid out, and they could still end up making the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I really kind of struggled with the back and forth of that. Can we stop blowing the horn? Do we need the horn? Really? Is it necessary? Wow. Congrats to...
20 minutes in the fourth overtime. Wow.
Man, wow. It really kind of went back and forth with it because there was the revenge factor with Georgia. I wanted another shot at them. But when you look at what is at stake, where, if you were to say, what is the number one priority of this event? Winning, obviously, is number one. But number two...
Winning would be nice.
Making sure that these guys stay healthy. And Georgia, unfortunately, has the Texas A&M football syndrome where they just do whatever it takes to beat the hell out of you. And on day one of this event, I just don't know if that's necessarily what would have been best for Kentucky. Oklahoma, more of a finesse team. They're skilled. They're super talented. But am I wrong for saying that I'm glad that Jeremiah Fears kind of got his March Madness guard moment? Guards have those types of games. He kind of got it in the first one. I'm hoping that he kind of used up all of his March Madness magic in that one and, maybe dies out a little bit. But we're March. This is an all-time event, all-time SEC tournament. It's going to be the toughest matchup event we'll ever see. You got to just kind of take the wins where you can get them. And I think all things considered, it's a winnable game for the Cats. You're glad to just be in this position where you could watch, and we had 5 coaches watching and scouting and getting ready for this. And I think the team's going to be ready. I know that they're going to be excited for round 2 and their own version of the rematch. Get some revenge. We can hear what they're saying. Rematch. They're excited. They're over there. We can kind of eavesdrop into their their excitement. But yeah, they're going to get their own revenge. But Kentucky is more talented, and they should be able to take care of business. There's a reason the folks out in the desert are calling them a 6.5-point favorite.
Yeah, and Jeremiah Fears, buddy, you got Lamont Butler on you this go around.
That he did not.
So we'll see how that goes this time around. Yeah, 29 points tonight, though, for Jeremiah Fears. He was excellent. I don't remember how many he finished with in the first matchup, but he was great in that game as well. Jack said hopefully he used up his March Madness moment last night. Or tonight, guys that good, they have tendencies to continue keep playing very well. So, but yes, the Lamont Butler factor is going to be huge in this one. I do think that Kentucky will have the overall talent level advantage. But like you said, Oklahoma is very talented. Jalen Moore in general is just a very good kind of sound overall, like 6'8", 6'7" wing or whatever he is. Really good friends with Ortega Owe. We kind of asked him about that in the post-game locker room. So those two are still good buddies. They still enjoy each other's company. They love talking smack to each other on the floor. So we'll see how all the emotions of this game kind of are controlled early on. That could be an interesting like kind of little subplot to this. But I think a big part of this game is going to be Jeremiah Fears is going up against Lamont Butler. He's not going against Blue Kane anymore. So we'll see how that ends up going.
The bus is rolling.
Bus is rolling. Not our bus. We got a shuttle waiting to take us back to Nissan Stadium. Shout out to our – do we remember that nice woman's name?
But
we're going to buy her a shot.
Yeah, we're going to go have a shot together.
She said she wanted a shot, so we'll give her a shot. When she's not driving, if her employer is watching.
Correct. You know who you should be giving a shot? Our friends at SeatGeek. Thank you to SeatGeek, our very
welcome for that transition.
Yeah, our very best friends. I am so excited to see my Kentucky Wildcats here in Nashville. It's the moment we've all been waiting for. It's Mark Pope's first postseason, and you want to be a part of that. So why don't you join our friends with SeatGeek? I've been looking to find the best deal on these March Madness tickets, and if you're looking for a place to get them, there is no better place than SeatGeek, which is why I want to give SeatGeek a huge shout out. With over 28 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app. There are more than 70,000 events listed on SeatGeek, including commercials, sports, festivals, and more. March Madness is here, and I love SeatGeek. I love using SeatGeek for March Madness. What do you think the fan turnout using our friends at SeatGeek is going to be looking like with BBN? Oklahoma getting the first run and getting the home court advantage. We get round 2 with a home court advantage thanks to our friends at SeatGeek.
Well, I will say I was kind of wildly impressed with the crowds today for at least the games that we saw. We saw the Arkansas game. Lower Bowl was pretty much packed. We saw the beginning of the second game as well. Lower Bowl pretty much packed. We saw the entirety of the Oklahoma-Georgia game. Lower Bowl pretty much packed. I think that might have been the best crowd actually of the day. And the Arkansas game had a amazing amount of Kentucky fans. Not a lot, but it was definitely like there's a lot of blue in here. Not so much tonight. Kentucky fans out on Broadway enjoying themselves because it's late. It's like midnight o'clock right now. Broadway way, yes. Popetown, what'd you say?
Popetown Hoedown.
Popetown Hoedown is Jack Pilgrim's, he's trying to coin. I'm not into it yet. We'll see if he changes me. Mountain Mama, I've kind of come on.
Get a couple drinks into you and you'll be into Popetown.
I'll be good for it. But I do think we're going to see an awesome crowd here tomorrow. Like, we've got 3 levels for this giant, huge, awesome stadium. I would not be shocked if the entire bottom level and then the middle level are all filled tomorrow for this. Will end up being another late night matchup. So that is going to be it's going to be a home game. I mean, I don't know, Oklahoma, I think Steven said that he was looking at Oklahoma, or someone was looking at Oklahoma student section, and they had 0 people here. Yeah. Not a single student here, which I don't know how far Oklahoma is.
We saw the Georgia crowd got super loud, and then once the game became very clear it was going in Oklahoma's favor, they all left, and it was 6 people there.
I'm not sure how far Norman is to Nashville, but I can imagine it's a lengthy trip that most students probably don't want to make. I doubt it's spring break or anything. If they were, that would be the reason. But regardless, it's going to be packed here. It actually is Kentucky spring break, UK, so students, I know you're going to be filled up here tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to that.
And if you haven't gotten your tickets, make sure you do it with our friends at SeatGeek. SeatGeek has your back. Each ticket is rated on a scale of 1 to 10, so you know what you're getting.
My favorite scale.
A good deal, so look for the green dots. Green means good, red means bad, obviously.
What does yellow mean?
Okay. Plus, every ticket is backed by their buyer guaranteed. And I came through for you guys. You can use code KSR10 for 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. That is 10% off any ticket with promo code KSR10. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. Thank you, SeatGeek.
Shout out to SeatGeek. Mark Pope's press conference. We can kind of wrap things up and talk about that for a second. Anything that you would like to touch on from he's talked for 11 minutes this morning, or it was around noon when we got here into Nashville. Some nice Lowe's hotel or something like that. Yep. No hardware in there, but there was lots of fancy hotels.
A lot of talk about defense and just the defensive growth and like, the how. Like, how did we get down to 112 in that trip down to Oxford and just hitting a low point on that end of the floor to becoming a top 55 defense nationally and, kind of finding the continuity with like, hey, we know that Jackson Robinson's out for the year. We know Kirk Reese, although he said that they're still kind of praying that there's just going to be a magical moment where Jackson Robinson and Kirk Reese would just run out on the floor like Paul Pierce in the NBA Finals. Not going to happen, but he was kind of joking about that. But said, knowing that this is our group and it's going to be our group down the stretch, you like to see that they are finding some defensive growth and that you can kind of see like they've been top 15 nationally over the last 3 or 4 weeks. Can they be a top 15 defense overall throughout the postseason? That starts tomorrow night, and I think he's excited to show that they got some defensive juice.
Yeah, Kentucky had 5 coaches. Five assistant coaches out here scouting the game. Excuse me, Cody Feger and Jason Hart, and then some of the other more like
Alvin Brooks, Leander Ridgeway, and Austin Pope are all here.
Yeah, so you had 3 of kind of the big assistant coaches out here scouting this game. Another big takeaway I thought from Pope's press conference, the question I asked, so I'm going to brag about it, and I asked it, so I'm going to talk about it. Colin Chandler, I think we are legitimately going to see a pretty significant role from him going into this tournament, like 6-man type stuff where he's maybe the first, second guy off the bench, getting 15, 20 minutes per game at this point. Who knows what we'll see out of someone like Ainsley Almanor. I can't remember off the top of my head what he did in that first Oklahoma game. I don't know if that was one of his kind of games where he played 20 minutes or games where he played 3 minutes, because that kind of seems to be like his thing right now or with Pope is he doesn't really know where he's going to play him. But yes, I don't know what my next point was going to be, but
next point is
Colin Chandler. Yes, defense. And another thing from the Pope press conference was he talked about his favorite SEC tournament moment as a player, which is from the 1995. I didn't even really know about this game or how crazy it was. Kentucky was down 19 points in the championship game to defending champion Arkansas. Weird how full circle situation there kind of. Ended up winning that game. They were even down 8 points in the overtime, or 9 points in the overtime, and still ended up winning that game against like a top 5 Arkansas team in the country at the time. Mark Pope had a double-double. How many double-doubles did Mark Pope have in his Kentucky career? Can you give me... No, 5.
What?
He lied.
Okay.
He's a humble liar. He's a humble liar.
He said
he joked and said that was my only double-double, and I needed an overtime to get to it. Yeah, no, he had 5 because I was like, I don't think you're right, buddy. He had 5 in his career.
He's just so humble.
So good for Coach Pope there. But yes, that was one of his bigger moments. 12 points, 10 rebounds for him. Hit a 3 in that game. So good for him. I think that was kind of it, though. We're kind of to the point now talking to Pope where it's like, all right, let's just play some games.
Yep.
Let's get it going.
I'm ready to get some games going. I'm ready to just see Kentucky on this floor here tomorrow night. It's gonna be a late one. This is a nice little appetizer to get us ready for what is to come and what is gonna be a very sleepy tomorrow night. Hopefully we'll be celebrating because this can't be the one night that we get to go out and have a drink or two. Like, this can't be it. Let's keep this momentum rolling. Let's have some fun. Let's turn this into not just a weekday in Nashville. Let's turn it into a weekend in Nashville. This fan base deserves it. SeatGeek deserves it.
Stephen Peake deserves it, if we're being honest.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he does. So just point blank, period. So we will see you on the other side. We thank you. We're excited to see you. This is our environment. This is our arena. This is the BBN Invitational. It's time to bring back the hardware that we've been so desperately missing. I'm so excited to see you, and come join me in Nashville. It's going to be a big time for Zack Geoghegan, for Jack Pilgrim, for Stephen Peake. We'll see you on the other side. Go Cats.
Move over, Global Jam.